Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Game Poke. Before we get onto today's topic, I want to show you something. This t-shirt. See that? Nerdling is what it says, in case you can't read it. It's for a YouTube channel called Do You Nerd, who I have had dealings with in the past. This is one of their t-shirt designs. I will put a link up here to their YouTube channel. I just bought this, they didn't give it to me, I bought it to show support. So I would love to have t-shirts of my own one day, but that's probably not going to happen because I haven't got the guts to try getting into that. But they have, so fair play. So there's my support. Please check it out, channel, and if you want, t-shirts. Now let's get on to today's topic. We are going to go over a few games that have disappointed the shit out of me. Now this isn't a top 5, this isn't a top 10 or low 5, low 10, whatever. This is just a bunch of games that really annoyed me because I waited X amount of time for each game, got the game, super excited, played it, excitement pissed away, hate the game, wah. Now the first one on the list is Valkyria Revolution. I waited a long time for this game because I am a big fan of Valkyria Chronicles. Now I once did a video, a Sega Head episode in fact, on Valkyria Chronicles. I went as far as to say that it's the greatest Sega game ever. Now I know a lot of people don't agree with that statement, but I don't care. Because I think it's awesome. It's just so complex without being overly complicated. The gameplay is fantastically strategic without boggling your brains. It's not like there's one way to do everything and you've got to figure it out. No, there are many ways you can do a level or a battle because this game is based in a war zone, basically. And the story behind it, while on a fictional world, of course, I don't know. It just seems to have so many great war elements that you could relate to in this world, if that makes any sense. The story has love, romance, loss, all of that great stuff that goes into war that you wouldn't think about. And of course there is the horrors of war. Aside from gameplay and story, it just looks awesome. It's a fantastic art style. That's Valkyria Chronicles. I won't go over that anymore because I've already done it. So why was Valkyria Revolution such a disappointment? Well, as a sequel, you would expect it would have some similarity to its prequels. This has only got a few. One is the music, which to my opinion is kind of one of the only redeeming factors. The music is still great. Could even be done by the same artist that did Valkyria Chronicles. I don't actually know, haven't researched that. The artwork, again, pretty good, but this is the thing that sucks. The story is very hard to pay attention to. It just seems to be boring. But while you think, okay, it would kick in a little bit later, you will not have the willpower to give it that time because the gameplay is completely fucking different. It is not strategy, it is not control your troops to destroy enemy troops. No, it is you are a guy with a big fuck off sword. Why? It reminds me of Drakengard. That was another game that disappointed the hell out of me, but I didn't feel it needed to be on this list because it's just crap. And since it wasn't a sequel, there wasn't really any hype for the game. But Valkyria Revolution, I was psyched to shit about this. I went to the store with Kev of all people, pushed everyone to one side so I could get my game, and then when I left I realised they had fucked up. They hadn't given me, because you know nowadays, well in England at least, when you buy a new game, it's not cellophane wrapped anymore. If you buy it from a store, if you buy it online it's different, but if you buy it from a store, they open the cases and take the game out. So when I bought this, they had put the game in a case for me and they didn't give me the soundtrack that comes with it. So I had to go back to the fucking store to get my soundtrack disc. Then I got home and played it, and I played the game for a total of 3 hours, and that was the most I could stand. You just run around and slash shit with your sword, then get a bit of story where you're like, what? Who's he? Who's she? What's going on? What? Boring. And then you get to a point where you're in a fucking town and you have to stock up on items and weapons, and you just think, I don't fucking care. Valkyria, as a series, is meant to be strategy-based and war-based strategy gaming, that sort of shit, you know. But instead, you got a big fuck-off sword, you're meant to go around slashing people's heads in. Not a bad concept for other game series franchises, but it doesn't fucking belong here. That game disappointed the shit out of me. Next game is one that nowadays I like a bit more. I've got a bit of nostalgia for it, but at the time that I played it, when it first came out, I was disappointed. Pokemon Ruby. I know a lot of people love this game because it got remade for your 3DS. I don't care. When this came out, I was disappointed on various levels. Now, graphically at the time, looked awesome. Sound, all of that, fantastic. Can't fault it. At the time, so brilliant then. Especially Game Boy Advance. It's the first, was it? Yeah, I think it was the first Pokemon game we got on Game Boy Advance. So, hype, obviously. Then you find out, when you've got the game, if you've been playing Red version and Silver version, or their respective Gold and Blues and whatever, you can't trade anymore. You could trade from Red to Silver, but you can't trade from either of them to Ruby / Sapphire / Emerald, You can't do that anymore, and when I got the game, when I got Ruby, my brother got Sapphire. Emerald came out a little bit later, I believe. And we'd always done that. I got Red, he got Blue. I got Silver, he got Gold. I got Ruby, he got Sapphire. Thing is, we were EV trainers. We loved all the EVs. Every time a new game came out and you got a new selection of EVs, our teams, as they were, got bigger and better, and we would trade to the next game to make them bigger and better. We loved being able to have your EV from your first ever Pokemon cartridge, I suppose, and just keep training it along and make the awesome team. But you can't trade from the old games to Game Boy Advance games. Huge pisser for me. Huge pisser for me. And not only that, when Ruby came out, there were no new EVs. And you couldn't get an EV in Ruby. I'm pretty certain of that. It's been a long time since I played it, but I'm going to go ahead and say you couldn't. There was no EV, there was no evolutions, and when Silver came out, obviously you got loads of new Pokemon types and all that shit, and you kind of liked them, you got into it, you were introduced to them pretty much all at once. It was like, slap, here's the new ones. It was ages before you ran into an old one, like even a Pidgey, when playing Silver. But you're playing Ruby, all the ones you ran into, a bit crap. There was nothing super exciting about them. First bird Pokemon you run into, you think, oh look, it's another fucking pigeon type. Lou. And then you run into Wingull and you think, a water seagull. Okay, I get it. But you didn't really care. And what's worse is the starter Pokemon. In Red, Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, they were all fantastic. In Silver, what do you have? Cyndaquil, Totodile, and... oh, bollocks. What's the name of the plant fucker? I remember Bayleaf. What was the one before that called? Text here, I'm having a brain fart. I do know it, but right now I don't, which is convenient. Anyway, they were all awesome too. And then Ruby came out, and I was disappointed with that as well. Torchic looked really cool. A lot of people went for that one. I did. Then it evolved once and it looked ridiculous. When it got to Blaziken, you think, oh, it's cool again, but it's a firefighting type? Okay, don't worry, I'm sure we won't see that again. Then you had Mudkip that looked a bit derpy from the word go, got derpier as he went along. Not awesome. Not really. But then you fucked it with your Trico, which is the lizard thing that no bugger ever wanted. Never known anyone to pick Trico unless they were doing Nuzlocke. They've rolled the dice and gone, ah, fuck, I gotta use him, shit. So yeah, that's Ruby. Bit of a disappointment for me. Several reasons, those are the ones that come off my head. I can't believe I've forgotten the name of the plant Pokemon from Silver though. Really annoying. Next game I'll go over quickly because it's really just one sort of thing that pisses me off about it. I am not that much into racing games. My favourite one of all time is pretty much any of the Wipeout ones. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I'm going to say, oh, my disappointment is the latest Wipeout is basically the ones from the PS3 again. While that is disappointing, it's not a big thing. My biggest disappointment is the only other racing game I've ever liked. Not the whole franchise, just this game really. Burnout Paradise City. I love that game on the PS3. And I think I got it when... remember a few years ago, the PS3, the PSN store, all that, it got hacked. People's accounts were hacked. So, to make up for it, Sony gave away loads of free games. And a few trial games they made, I think. Anyway, I remember I got Burnout Paradise City through that thought, I love this, buying the full game straight away. And you could have your own music, because you could put your CDs into your PS3, burn the music on, and then you'd play said games, and you could have that music as soundtracks. Which was great, because playing Burnout Paradise City with Rob Zombie music going, it was just awesome. I can't play any Rob Zombie music here for you because copyrighted to fuck it will be, but the game was awesome because of that. Instead of having to listen to, what was the default music? It was a lot of Guns N' Roses shit and stuff like that, but me, I'm more into my heavy shit. Although Rob Zombie isn't really all that heavy, but when you're driving around like a maniac, perfect music for that. Anyway, why was I disappointed with the PS4 re-release? Is what I'm trying to get to. Well, it's simple really. PS4, you can't burn your CDs onto a PS4, at least not to my knowledge. Put a CD in, it just goes derp. So, PS3's got one up on it for that. When I got the PS4 game, Burnout Paradise City, I was googling, how the fuck do I get my music on here? I don't want to have to put up with the shit they've got. So many people even said, just play the game, turn music off and have your CD player going. I could do that with any fucking game. The convenience of the PS3 one was it's on the PS3. It's customised the way I want it. How do I get the PS4 to do that simple thing? They said you download the PlayStation Spotify app thing. Well, many people take the piss out of me for this, but I don't use Spotify, I use iTunes. Yes, I know it's dumb, but I started using iTunes years ago. I have stuff on it, and you know, whatever you pretty much start with and have stuff on, you're committed to forever. I've got digital albums on iTunes, so I'm kind of stuffed. But fuck it. Point is, Spotify app is useless to me. But I tried it anyway, and even thought, alright, let's try and get Rob Zombie to play on this game. It was tedious as fuck, it was annoying as fuck, and I gave up. Because it's shit and it's not simple, whereas the PS3 one was CD on, done, take the CD out, game, play all that crap, D-pad, pick your album, play, go, and it will just do it. PS4, dunno. Don't fucking know. Disappointed to shit, haven't played that game. I haven't played the PS4 one since I got it, pretty much. I've gone back to the PS3 one. So that was some money pissed away. Next one is one that all Sega fans were disappointed with. Sonic 06. It's really just called Sonic the Hedgehog, but you know it as Sonic 06 and so do I. Why was this one a disappointment, I wonder? I've had people say I should do a big Sega Head episode on this game. Maybe one day I will, but for now we'll just cover it quickly. When it came to Sonic the Hedgehog, the series, and we had it on the PS2, some of the games were alright, some of them were a bit meh. You had your Sonic the Hedgehog Mega Collection, I think it was called. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was called that. That was great. Bit laggy, not as good as having actual Mega Drive stuff. It's another port to a different console, it's never going to be the same. But there was a lot of cool shit on that game, so I liked it for what it was. Then we finally get our PS3s and Xbox 360s, if you will. And, well, we were waiting for a great Sonic game. And then we get one that's just called Sonic the Hedgehog. You're like, oh my god, this one must be important, it must be good. They're just using that name. It's like a reboot. Ooh, so you're thinking, they're not continuing on from Sonic Adventure and any of that. No, we're starting again. So it's got to be awesome, isn't it? Need I say any more as to why it's not? Really? I mean, all I've got to do is say the word loading. The game's crap. It's got a lot wrong with it. I could go into such detail, but that's just an obvious one as to why that's disappointing. Disappointing words. I think we'll cover one more game. We'll cover one more. This one, a bit more of a reason why I despise it. I don't know why I'm itchy here today. Sorry if I keep doing that. It's Final Fantasy 13. Now, the first Final Fantasy I ever played was number 8. 7 is awesome. 8's my favourite because of the nostalgia. It was my first one. But 7 is the better game. It just is. But 8 is still awesome. I still don't know why we haven't got that on the Switch, and I will forever be angry about that, it seems. Final Fantasy 9, another awesome game. Very different, but very awesome. 10, I love Final Fantasy 10. That is great. It is brilliant. I also think it's the last good one. 10-2, fuck yourself. I know a lot of people out there like it, but fuck yourself. I don't like it. 11, well, that's your online thing, so that's a whole different kettle of fish. It's not bad, it's just a different thing. So, fine. 12, well, they tried a new battle thing, and it didn't work, did it? Especially because around that time you had Kingdom Hearts, where you could run up and twat enemies. Going from turn-based stuff, I thought if you could do anything different, just have that, just give us the ability to run up and twat shit. No, we got this stupid little circles and lines and all this plan. I didn't like it, is the simple answer. I didn't like it. But the story in 12, also, what? It was all about politics in a fictional world. I don't know politics in this world. How am I going to know it in that one? Anyway, then we finally get to 13. PS3. Graphics, obviously going to be up. Story, obviously going to be up. Music, you know what? I'll tell you about fucking music in a minute. 13 annoyed the shit out of me. In fact, bollocks, we're going to go on to the music right now. Every Final Fantasy has had the same fucking victory tune. This. They've had variations on it, of course, different instruments, little bit of ditties at the end. In fact, here's a couple more. There you are. Same shit, slightly different each time. Now Final Fantasy 13. No, they've done away with it. The victory tune ain't there no more. Now, don't get me wrong, it might appear like right at the end of the game or really far into the game, but I couldn't get that far because I couldn't fucking stand it. The characters are shit. All of their backstories, shit. The story in their game, what the fuck, it's so shit. I don't understand what is going on. And it makes me laugh that with Dissidia and all your Final Fantasy collection games and all that shit, Lightning, the main character from Final Fantasy 13, is shoved down your throat. No bugger knows anything about her, because we couldn't stand to play 13. It was that fucking bad. That's why I've left that one till last to talk about today, because it pisses me off the most. I waited the longest for it. I had no fucking idea what I was doing in the game. You think you can free roam and just go up and twat enemies? Yes, and mainly, no. You can't do shit you want to do. In fact, I think JonTron did it best when he took the piss out of it by pressing any button and just having the character going forward and doing whatever he wanted. Because you have no control over this game, even though you're meant to have complete control over this game. If that makes a lick of sense, which it don't, but that sums up the fucking game. Music? Well, the main theme was pretty good, I will be fair. Everything else is so unmemorable, immemorable, what's the word? Forgettable. I've forgotten it, so there. Don't have it in here anymore. Graphics? Yeah, of course, they're fine. But the game, as a whole, shit! Whenever I talk to someone about Final Fantasy 13 and say, what do you remember? They say basically three things. 1, I hated it as a game, it sucked. 2, the characters. And 3, there was no ending tune. I'll say, well, what do you remember about the characters? And you say, I remember the one with the big tits, which was basically just there to be a replacement for Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. And I remember the black guy because, well, he was your typical black guy, I suppose, in terms of games. He wasn't your Barrett, who was a unique character. He was just a guy that would go around say, I don't know, stereotypical black person things, which I thought was quite racist, to be fair. It's like, there's no individualism to this character. There just isn't. The guy's got a little baby chocobo that's stuck in his hair. You think, oh, there we go, a characterism. But you don't fucking care about the guy. There's not enough development for you to give a shit about him. If he were to die in some dramatic Aerith-like way, no one would give a fuck. Kind of like the whole game, no one gives a fuck. And yet what's more mind-boggling is the fact that this game got like 2 sequels, maybe more. How the fuck did it get sequels? It's shit! I'm going to have to stop myself because I realise I'm rambling about 13. I didn't realise I hated it so much until I finally got to talk about it on camera. Got it, shit! Let's try it again. I'm going to stop. Those are some games that disappointed the hell out of me. 5, just a handful. What are some games that disappointed you? Let me know. I would be very interested to find out. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Game Poke. We'll do some more stuff like this in the future, I reckon. We'll talk about some Mega Drive games, some Master System games, RPG games, any topic, but we won't do top 5 or top 10. We'll just do, I don't know, part 1. Like, if I want to talk about disappointed games again one day, I'll just put it as part 2 and talk about some others. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching this episode of Game Poke. Oh, and before we go, I have recently done a collab video with the Button Bashers. I've already done a video talking about this, but I'm very proud of the video. I enjoy it thoroughly, but it's not on this channel. It's on theirs, so I want to make sure everyone gets a chance to see it. There'll be a link for that up near. Please check it out if you get the chance. Just click the thing, go see it. Also check out the channel, of course. Check out Button Bashers. If you like them, subscribe. It's all good. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.